are so many different classic sponge cake recipes out there, and I must say I've tried a few, but there's one recipe that I think is foolproof, and that would have to be the Country Women's Association recipe. This recipe works every time, and your sponges will be light and fluffy. So let's get started, because there's a few steps on this. We need some eggs. Now, it's important, and this is what the recipe says, we need eggs that are at room temperature. And I've done this recipe both ways with eggs that are cold and eggs that are at room temperature, and it makes a difference because you'll get a lighter batter. Okay, pop that down. We want to start that on a medium speed and work up to a high speed. So as soon as it gets to frothy peaks, we'll start adding our sugar, and I've got 1.5 cups of sugar here. While that's happening, we can get onto some jam. I'm gonna make a beautiful jam from scratch. So easy to do for this recipe. I need 800 grams of fresh, beautiful strawberries. Look at them, they smell so wonderful. Place them into a medium pot, along with 2 cups of sugar. In that goes, so caster sugar here, and approximately 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. So we want to cook this for about 45 minutes, or until we've got that beautiful jammy consistency, and then just allow it to cool down. Right, let's go back to this mixer and have a look. This is what we're looking for. You can see that it's started to become frothy, so we start to rein in our sugar, just slowly, a little bit at a time. This whole process should take around 10 minutes. While that's happening, we can get on to some other little steps. I've got a pot here. I need 2 tablespoons of butter. This butter is just softened, and we just want to melt this along with 8 tablespoons of milk. And I'm just going to heat that up until that butter has melted. Okay, this is looking good. We can turn the mixer off now. That's been about 8 minutes, and we're going to pop all of this mixture into a huge bowl. Look at that, it's creamy, it's doubled in size. It's very, very light. So now we add the dry ingredients to this. So the flour, and that just goes straight into our egg and sugar mixture. We'll start with that and just sift that in. So that's 2 cups in total, and we simply start giving that a good mix, folding it in, keeping as much of that lightness there. Look at that. Oh. So the last thing we need to do is incorporate our milk and butter mixture. And you just want to slowly add it in. Don't add it in all at once because it still is slightly warm. So just a dribble at a time until it all comes together. Folding each time, making sure that there are no lumps or pockets of self-raising flour in this mixture. So that's been incorporated really well, and now it's time to bake. So I've got 2 non-stick tins here. I don't even need to put any butter or oil spray or any greaseproof paper in this. This is non-stick, so they'll come out perfectly. So 180 degrees, check them after 15 minutes. It could need another 5 minutes. The best way to check is just to get a skewer, pop it in. If it comes out clean, it's ready. Another really important tip, don't open the oven. Allow these cakes to cook for the full 15 minutes. They'll rise perfectly and be light and fluffy. So our sponge cakes are out of the oven. I've just allowed them to cool in the tins, and we can take them out. Look at that. It's as simple as sliding it off the base. Now, of course, you can't have a sponge cake like this and not have the jam, which is ready and it's cooled down, and cream. I've got thick cream here. We're going to pop it in a bowl, and you can just use cream, but I'm going to add some mascarpone cheese to this. I love the flavour of it, so even amounts of both. And just to sweeten it up just a little bit, I've got some caster sugar. You can use a little bit of icing sugar here if you like. Give that a mix, and a big spoonful of cream goes on one side of our sponge. You don't want to go all the way to the edge because as soon as they squash together, the cream will go everywhere. So just be careful of that. And our lovely homemade jam here. We're just going to pour that on, just really carefully. Yum, I love this. I love this, and it smells so good. And of course, it's time to sandwich that, just like so. Squish it down a little bit. And last but not least, just to top it off, a sprinkling of icing sugar. And there you have it, a timeless cake, sponge cake. I think everyone should know how to make these because they are just delicious. Cream, jam, perfect combination.